one thing I recognize in this text. One is they were on their way together. You don't see a lot of folk coming to prayer now together. We drive to prayer by ourselves. If you let us, we'll sit by ourselves. They went to prayer together. It's important to go to prayer together. If you are at prayer, if you are in the house of the Lord together, the devil in hell can't harm you. How do you know? Because Matthew 18:20 says, for where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, he says, there you will find me in the midst. And wherever the Lord is, you got what Allstate calls full coverage. You got what State Farm calls full coverage, simply because Jesus is in the midst. Can't have a group over here, one over there, but come to prayer together. You see, prayer, there are those who will come to prayer and discover that they are overdrawn, which means you get more out than you put in. Prayer is like the bank. In order to get something out, you got to put something in. You can go in the bank and stand in the line and have a check made payable to cash all you want. But if you haven't made some deposits, you can't have any withdrawals. We can put on our finest of clothes and come to church and sit in the main seat, sit in our seat and just wait for something to happen. But if you haven't made some deposits, there won't be any withdrawals. And so it was that Paul and Silas went to prayer. And on their way to prayer, they were met by a little girl. And the Bible says that this little girl was possessed with an evil spirit. Isn't it strange that when you're on your way to prayer, it's always something? One songwriter said, if it ain't one thing, it's another. When you think you got a bill paid, look around and another one is made. But on their way to prayer, they were met by a little girl who the Bible calls a soothsayer. Now you got to be from the South to interpret this now. The Bible says she was a soothsayer or a fortune teller. Now I grew up in Memphis, and in Memphis is filled with soothsayers. I mean, New Orleans, Louisiana is filled with soothsayers. All back and down in the South, there are soothsayers. Ben looking at me like, explain what that is. Soothsayers, fortune tellers. I mean, they were in Memphis like Sister Ruby. You know, you drive down the street and there's a hand in the yard. Anybody know what I'm talking about? You drive down the street and there's a hand in the yard. In Memphis, it was Sister Ruby. It was Mother Nicholas. It was Sister Elijah. It was Amazing Mary, and it was Sister Linda. Well, you could turn your radio on and you would hear the announcer saying stuff like this. If you want your love life, don't y'all act like I'm the only one who know about this. I'm from Memphis, not in Memphis. And you New Orleans folk, you Carolinians, y'all know about this. If you want your love life straightened out, if you want it used to come on the radio just like this, if you want your nature restored, I'm gonna get you in a minute. If you have a pain that the doctors cannot stop. If you want your ex-husband, your ex-wife back, if you want some good luck, they would say, if you're tired of having problems in your life, to call one of these sisters. But the Lord told me to tell you this morning, if you're tired of having problems in your life, don't call a sister in this text. Don't call a mother. Don't call a soothsayer. Call on Jesus. Because the Lord will hear your prayer, especially your midnight prayers. And so it was this little girl. The Bible says she was owned by her masters, and the 16th verse tells us that she brought her masters much gain. How? By soothsaying. In other words, what did she do? You see, if the dogs were running, she could tell her masters what dog to put the money on. This is the text. She could tell them what dog to put their money on. People are quiet now. If the horses were running, she would tell them what horse to bet on. Y'all are quiet. If she was playing if they were playing the slot machine, she could tell them which machine was hot. Don't act like you don't go talking about what. I ain't gonna say where you go, but you know you want to know which machine is hot. Now hear me when I tell you that at the same time, this little girl is evil possessed. Following up behind Paul and Silas, possessed with a demonic spirit, but this is what she's saying. She's following up behind Paul and Silas saying, these men are servants of the Most High God. And they come to show unto us the way of salvation. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, she's walking up behind two of God's men saying, these men are servants of the Most High God. Can you imagine the devil himself, verse 17, walking up behind Paul and Silas saying, these men are servants of the Most High God? What better testimony could have been said about Paul and Silas? They're servants of the Most High God. But the question is, what's really happening here? Don't believe everybody that blows smoke to you. Don't believe every time somebody says something good to you that they mean it good for you. You got to be careful with the stuff that people say to you. I don't care how good it sounds. I mean, they're walking up. These men are servants of the Most High God. But this little girl was not talking to people who were serving the Most High God. As a matter of fact, she was talking to people who did not believe in the true and living God, and she was pointing out Paul and Silas, saying, here they are. Y'all see that? Here they are. Here they are. In other words, she was saying, she was really making a mockery of Paul and Silas. What she was really saying was, here come those Bible-toting preachers. Here come those sanctimonious. Here come those holy rollers. Matthew chapter 7 verse 6 says, give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast your pearls before the swine, lest they trample it under their feet and turn and ruin you. This little girl was trampling the pearls under her feet. So my brothers and sisters, this began